You have got to be kidding.
All right now, who's got the
Your
new
butt's
phone?
ringing, Robin.
It's Mama. Mama. Mama.
Yeah.
You're on film.
Hi.
What?
You call us whenever we're filming, Mama.
Well, I don't know when you filming.
The life of a YouTube star.
The life of a YouTube star, Mama.
We're just winging it, Ma.
Well, let me hang up.
All right, I love you.
Yeah, I know you do when you need something. All right.
Oh.
Got that little and
Yeah, I know you love me when you need something. Welcome to the TheCandidCast, and this is who we are. Woo! Who are you?
sorry, we were just so stunned by you. We're just like,
Yeah. You were doing like a long intro.
I'm not doing that again.
I'm Karina.
I'm Robin.
I'm Christina. Welcome to another episode of TheCandidCast, where we can help you party, because it's Friday! Y'all ready for this? And just remember that we are a drama-free, politics, religion-free zone. You have to be over 18 to party with us. What are we talking about today, ladies?
We are going to be talking about urban legends that we have always heard since we were little children.
Little children.
Little children.
Little children's disease.
And we're also going to talk about small town ghost stories too. Right, so I have chosen two stories, and one of them is actually a reference to Halloween. It was back in 1962. There is a picture that does show this. A person was, actually he crashed a party. It was a Halloween party, and he wore a black mask. Nobody recognized this person, but he's in this photo. And what happened was he locked the doors from inside, and there was like, you know, it's a party, so you know, there's quite a few people there. And what actually happened was he killed about 7 people until they found out what was really going on. And about 9 years later, that is when they found the mask. And it's called The Massacre on Halloween of 1962. It says the men ended up killing only about 7 people using a kitchen knife. He was never found or caught. He was never found or caught. The mask was found in 1969. The FBI has it in custody.
Huh. But you know, if you think about, like, if they found the mask, couldn't they test that out? Like, for, like,
well, I mean,
But
back,
at that time,
but then back
then
then
they didn't
have
have
all
the
that.
But if they have, somebody's got that mask now.
and that's the thing with Halloween parties. It's like people invite such and such friends. Like, oh, you invite.
And then their friends come and their friends come. Yeah, that's
so by
true.
the end, it's
And
like,
that's the thing, is that nobody recognized this person.
But if whoever has that mask in custody could probably test it now.
They can probably do it now,
Do
yeah.
it. Let's find out who it is.
but you know what? They probably know that man is probably like in his 70s or 80s.
I don't care. He still committed a crime.
Now, do y'all want me to tell y'all my second story?
Please.
This one is called the clown statue story. Now, I am petrified of clowns. Literally petrified of clowns. I don't like to go to circuses.
Circuses?
Yeah, circus. Wait, circuses.
You said it right.
Yes. And I don't even like to watch the movie It because I'm petrified of clowns. Anything that has a clown in it, I am just petrified of.
Everybody loves a clown.
Even
So
like
why don't
Halloween
you-
masks and Halloween stores, I can't go down the costume aisles because of like the clowns. Girl was babysitting one night in a huge house. After putting the children to bed, she settles down just to watch TV. She notices in the corner of the house there's a clown statue. She gets freaked out even more about the clown because she just feels like the eyes are just staring at her. She tries to ignore it, but a huge fear of clowns, she decides to call the parents to let them know. But in a chilling twist, the dad frantically tells her to grab the children and to run out of the house, go to the neighbor's house, and to call the cops. Once she is safe outside, the distraught family tell her that the children have been telling the dad that there's a clown that has been watching them at night. And here's the part that will haunt your nightmares for forever. The family doesn't own a clown statue. Never have a clown statue. Nothing inside the house that references the clown. And they have actually been stalked by an actual serial killer that has been inside the house.
The calls are coming from inside the house.
Exactly. So
What?
like even telling that story, it still gives me goosebumps because that person has been inside their house for weeks,
Pretending to be a statue.
a clown statue.
I would just...
Like what? Waiting for the perfect time to like murder them?
I guess because in a serial killer's mind is that everybody has a pattern. So I think that's why is that he was just watching their patterns and see because with the kids. Obviously,
like what time do they go to bed every night?
Exactly.
Is a babysitter here every day?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was a really like chilling story because one, it's got clowns, and two, they actually had a real life person inside of their house that has been stalking them for weeks. But then that's the thing is that the parents had no idea. Is that the kids just were the only ones that would see the clown.
And you know what? If they hear things, they just brush it off like, oh, kids just see anything.
Exactly.
Or it's their imagination.
Yes.
Like,
well, nowadays you
pretend.
can't do that because it could be like legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty scary.
Y'all better be listening to you.
Y'all better be listening to y'all kids.
Do it for the children.
Yes. Do it for the children.
All right. What about you, Karina? You got any
so
juicy stuff over there?
Juicy scary stories.
Yeah, I have two as well. So the first one is it's a local haunted lake story. Or at least people think just because this...
Oh, no, it is a true story. No, it is.
This lake has brought in so many deaths since it was created that people are starting to wonder...
So it's a man-made lake, like...
Man-made. So this lake was man-made in 1957. So, and I did not know this, but the U.S. Army actually bought out like $50,000 or 50,000 acres of land. It was farmland and middle-class workers, farmers, and they purchased this land and just flooded it. And they told the families they were displaced. They basically had to go and find new homes, and they didn't even demolish like the homes and churches. I mean, they just flooded everything on top of the town.
So they didn't clear it out.
They didn't clear it out.
Oh wow!
They just flooded.
It
took them 5 years.
That's messed up.
Yeah, it took them 5 years to fully fill the lake, I guess, to the capacity that they wanted it to. And so these families were displaced, and the town was flooded, right? So now there's drownings of like perfectly good swimmers, divers, family just vacationing, going on boat rides, and people are jumping in the lake and just never coming back up.
And they never find the bodies neither. That's
sometimes
the thing,
if you're lucky, you find the bodies. There's bodies of drownings of people who drowned about 20 years ago, and they still never found the bodies. And so this lake attracts like 7 million people, and people don't know, what's going on. Is it the bodies that, were left there? Is it people who drowned and are haunting it? Or is it people that, because apparently there was grave sites.
There was a cemetery down there.
There were several cemeteries, and I don't know, I think they might have moved some of the stones and the bodies. But there's
disturb those grounds, man, see?
But there was bodies that I guess families never claimed that they just ended up leaving, and people don't know if is it those people that are angry that they just kind of came and took over and are kind of taken back at people who are enjoying the lake now, or
they are enjoying it, all right, with a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Or what do y'all think? Do y'all think it's a coincidence that people are just
here's
drowning?
my thing.
I don't.
Here's a couple of things. Lake Lanier is pretty big.
It's
huge. But you got to think about this. It's not as big as like the Hudson up in New York.
No.
Now, even in the Hudson, they tend to find bodies. Granted, they might have cement shoes on, if you know what I mean, but they do tend to find the bodies. Like if somebody jumps like Washington Bridge, whatever, okay? But Lake Lanier is not all that huge where you can't find the body, or at least some remains. Bones, an article of clothing, something.
But
so, they're
gone.
Yeah, and then but for them to just disappear like that, that is what would freak me out about it.
My thing is the people who are perfect swimmers and they're just out on the lake, jump off or diving off the boat, and then
the lake's not that deep, is it?
Why don't you come back up?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. So they interviewed one man from an article, and I think he was a diver who specifically goes in and dives and is trying to look for bodies, and he kind of said like that lake has an eerie feeling. and it's dark,
That lake
and
is
you know how
cursed
much
because
death
of what
it
was done to
brings.
those people. That's probably what it is. There was one kid, a teenager, who felt like his ankle was being grabbed.
Yes,
I've heard
yeah,
that.
I've heard that.
Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
People who actually managed to not drown and not like.
Yeah, they
something
felt like
They felt like there was something pulling them down into the water.
Yeah, I remember reading
I've
about
heard
that or hearing about
I
that.
don't
So.
Ooh, got that gives me goosebumps. Booga booga. Booga booga.
10 years ago, where the area went through like an extreme drought and the lake. Do you remember the
water
stuff that was coming up? I think they had pictures, and apparently you could even see there was like a racetrack.
With the bleachers, you can
You
see the
could
bleachers.
see the bleachers, like
Yeah.
the racetrack. I think you could even see like a piece of a church. I'm not sure if it was like a cross of a church or something. So that shows that town was just
Gosh,
flooded.
that makes you want to go like excavate now. Like I want to go.
I
want to know what's down there.
I wouldn't. No. Mm-mm.
So let us know what y'all think. Do y'all think it's a coincidence? Do you think there's something, or is it?
I think there's something in there. I do.
Yeah, I feel-
Just something.
I also have another local story. This one's in a private women's college, also kind of local. It's Burnell University. And this story has been passed down for, I think, close to 100 years. So the story goes, there's a student, her name was Agnes, and she was in love with a professor there. And it was, I think, getting close to Christmas holidays, and they were going to go out, visit family and then come back. And she was in love with this professor, and she was hoping to, like, confess her love to him. Anyway, when they get back from Christmas break, she finds out that he's engaged.
Oh.
And apparently that finally just led her, I guess she just couldn't take the heartbreak. Anyway, she ended up committing suicide. People are always saying that they're hearing like voices and light switching off, and especially in the auditorium, because apparently she was majoring in like music, or I don't know if she was like a piano. I think she did something with piano or music. So apparently in the theater, they're always like, that's where mainly most of the stuff happens, where it's like the light shut off, or apparently there was like even glitter that ended up coming down from the, and they hadn't had a play in like I don't know how long. Apparently glitter just started like sprinkling down out of nowhere. They're not sure if she either hung herself or I don't know what happened, but there's two parts to it. They either think that she killed herself because of the professor, or that she didn't get into a sorority that she wanted to get into. But I think most of what I've read and heard is because of the professor.
That's what I've heard.
Some even came to say that she was even expecting a baby from the professor.
Oh.
And that's what really like threw her over, that it was just, she was distraught that he ended up going and getting engaged, and here she
Plot
was
twist.
expecting a baby, and in that time it's like,
Yeah.
so, and I actually went to that university when I was in high school. I think I must have been a junior or senior, and I was in chorus, and we were going to perform in that same auditorium. And the instructor ended up telling us that that's the first time that I had heard it, and she said, "Oh, well, if y'all hear anything, don't get scared. It's just a friend who."
It's just Agnes.
Yeah, and it's basically like a friend now, where it's like people are just used to it. It's like, oh, it's just Agnes, and so I guess if for people who've never gone there or go there and end up hearing that, it's just like, kind of scary, but.
It is a beautiful campus too.
It is. It's a
very
gorgeous
by the way.
campus.
It's historical.
If you want to do a ghost tour, it's a gorgeous campus. It's really
Ghost
pretty.
tours are really interesting because you can also learn about just your town, but also like it's like the stories is that like
The history.
Yes,
The history behind
I
the
love
town
a ghost
and-
tour. Yeah.
I would like to talk about the Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil basically.
Wait, not you.
I am my own devil. I'm the devil that travels around. This one's just in New Jersey.
Wait, are you a share one?
I'm a little share demon. So this is based on folklore of New Jersey and Philadelphia. The Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the pine barrens of South New Jersey. And I bet he talks like this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna drink the blood, okay? Are you all good? Are you good with that?
You good?
Are
all
you
right?
good
We
with
good
that?
over here? Let me go ahead and let a blood-curdling scream out. But he's apparently during 17...
He's got his gold chains and his cigar coming at you.
He's got like a cigarette and he's like,
hey!
I got my Gold's Gym t-shirt. He's got like he drives like an IROC Z around the town.
A Lincoln, like those long Lincolns that take a curve.
Hurry up and get scared. I got Gym 10 laundry coming up. I got cabs are here. Cabs are here. Come on, hurry up. It's t-shirt time. Come on. Okay, so this creature is described as a flying biped.
Bat?
Yeah, it's kind of I guess it's
Bat vampire?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's also like a mix of a kangaroo with like a goat or horse head.
And like a sheep.
Yeah, like a sheep and stuff. And then like you got fur. Then it's got like chicken feathers, you know.
And it has scales.
And it has small arms and clawed hands, kind of like a T-Rex. So it has been reported that this creature, it moves quickly and often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. But it originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds, known as Mother Leeds, and she had about 12 children. And after finding she was pregnant with for the 13th time, which is ironic that it's a 13.
I was going to say that it's the number 13.
She cursed the child in frustration, crying that the child would be the devil. During 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor, and on a stormy night while her friends gathered around her, born as a normal child, the 13th child changed to a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. And so...
Well, wait. So it was a regular child, but she cursed the child.
Cursed it.
And then once she had
and it
the
done
child,
changed
it
to a
turned.
creature, honey. Don't they all?
She got her wish.
But don't they all change into a creature?
Oh, I don't know. I don't got no kids.
When they're
So-
teenagers, they do.
Oh,
They
God.
turn into these little...
No, not teenagers, toddlers.
Toddlers.
Those
That's
things
what the
kids.
terrible... She didn't realize what the terrible twos was. That's what... It's all a crazy mix up. Now, the other legend, thank you, Wikipedia, again, for letting me research that, is the sewer alligator. So, being a New York native, let me just represent the sewer alligator all day, every day. No, I'm just kidding. So, in the 1920s and 30s, a lot of us New Yorkers would go and vacation and go to Florida was our go-to place apparently. And they would go ahead to the gift shops, and then in Florida they would sell these little pet alligators so people can bring home. And so,
Really?
so yeah, you just go to the little souvenir
like the
shop.
animal. Kind of like they do the turtles now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you can take it home and be a little pet. But what they fail to realize is that those things kind of grow a little bit and become a little high maintenance. So this is back 1920s, 1930s. And so there's this legend about this family brought one home in the 1930s and flushed it down the toilet because it was just too much to deal with.
Yeah.
And obviously it could fit in the toilet, so it wasn't that big. But I'm wondering if it was just too much for them to deal with at the time.
probably was.
The
And
food,
they just didn't
and
really
like
want
didn't
to.
know how to
like
handle
nipping
it.
at them, like I want to eat your flesh.
Yeah, like probably didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
But they flushed it down the toilet, and so that's like the legend is that there are alligators in the sewer, which I don't believe because we all know like Ninja Turtles live down there, and I'm pretty sure
Ninja
They can
Turtle.
handle the alligators down there.
Yes. And so that is one of my favorite legendary urban legends because my brother Martin, shout out to you, my brother Martin. I haven't seen you forever, but I gotta come up and visit. Martin. So he used to mess with me all the time and be like, "Yeah, Chrissy, you're gonna sit down and like the alligator's gonna bite you." And I'm like, I was afraid to use the toilet at one point in my life. So I don't know. Do you think that something like that could happen? I mean, think about it.
I mean, I think
there's
it
water.
could go
It's
down
it can
in there.
thrive. Yeah,
There's rats. There's rats. It
Plenty
can
of
live off
rats.
of rats.
Probably been living off of
It
rats.
can probably live down there.
And they say they get up to what, 15 feet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it could thrive. I mean, I would think in a sewer, but
They
then
can probably thrive.
don't
yeah.
they need like a warm environment?
They need
So
like
think about this
sunlight.
though, like they got the New York City subway. I was just thinking maybe it would be too cold during the winter, but the New York City subway system is hot under there all
I was
the
going
time.
to say it's
A lot
probably
of electricity
humid and like
running
the water and...
Yep.
Alright guys, so that is the end of our video. Thank you for keeping up there with us.
Please comment,
With all of our
like,
rambles.
subscribe. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, and then comment, hey, do you guys like, what are your urban legends in your
yeah.
area, or
Let
anything
us know
you might
the
have
ones
heard
that
of?
we talked about, do you think they're real?
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you think there's a giant Bigfoot guy eating beef jerky somewhere? But yeah, let us know. And so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Bye.
Don't panic. Bye.
Love you. Mwah.
All right.
Okay, we're done.
Mama.
Scary movie is The one that I will not watch. Like, I cannot watch a Chucky movie. I can.
Oh my God! Robin, what?
No, I can't stop.
Look.
No.
Oh my God.
You like her face up?
No.
Where do your pupils go?
Just don't look at her, Holly. Just don't look at her. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. She'll turn you into stone.
I was gonna say. She's gonna look at him like this. You search some. Are you done? We good? You good over there, Max?
I'm good.
Yeah, take a seat, buddy.
I have to say, no one left a resume on the comments.
He's all we got.
So,
Well, just for the time
Now
being.
you're stuck with me.
Just for like the time being.